All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kapadash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to those for elect here in this word in truth and in sincerity. I'm the brother Awalam from the GMS West Palm Beach Camp, back with another lesson. Just a quick lesson. What more do you need to see, all right, to be persuaded that this is the MOTB? And that question is, I'm asking facetiously, of course, because we already know what it is. All right. The mark of the beast is the implantable chip. All right, that they're quickly bringing. But, the trumpet has been sound, beginning with our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone. This has been coming out as to, what it is. And this prophecy right here is very, very, very important because pursuant to Revelation, the 14th chapter, there is no turning back for those that do take it. All right. So the leaders of these other camps, at least they repent and teach the right doctrine. They got a lot of blood on their hands. It says Elon Musk, Neuralink, planning mass rollout of brain chips. All right. See, so it's just not the prophet saying it no more. You got articles going into this. Okay. And our people are very hypocritical. When the prophets say it's you crazy, y'all bugged out, or nobody listens. But then when Esau said, or when articles are written about it, now it's more believable. And that in a sense right there is going to be the death of a lot of our people. Okay, unbelief, the faithless. It says Neuralink, the brain-computer interface company, co-founded by Elon Musk, is preparing for a dramatic scale-up and production, with plans to manufacture brain implants in high volumes by 2026. You see? So 2026, just got in, and we're seeing articles about this. January 1st, 2026, man. Okay? So, Lord willing, this may be the year where, the Lord put the spirit on this devil to speed things up. All right? Let's go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. A very, familiar scripture. One we bring out, I think I bring this one out through the Spirit every lesson. All right, but it's applicable, especially now because these visions is not slowing down. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 2. It says, "And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that read it." All right, the vision, is referring to the prophecies in which the Lord gave to his servants, the prophets. Okay? Verse 3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." Right? The vision is yet for an appointed time. We're living in those times where, that microchip will be made accessible in this society. All right, and it will be made mandatory. And once again, pursuant to Revelation, the 14th chapter, we are not to take that implantable chip. Okay, let's go to Revelation, the 14th chapter. Because one may say, well, what am I supposed to do? If I can't eat, I can't, those are faithless arguments, man. All right, because Isaiah 10 and 20 says how the remnant is not going to stay upon him that smote them, or which is Esau, but stay upon the Holy One of Israel. Okay, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But this is Revelation chapter 14 and verse 9, and it says, "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand," all right, and that brain chip is the forehead aspect, all right, because they're gonna put that in your head, to these bug outs that take it. You already got people out there with a chip in their brain where they're able to funk, because you got people that were paralyzed, or weren't able to talk, probably weren't able to see, because a lot of these functions, are neural related in terms of nerves in your brain is how you're able to see. So Esau is going to try to put this in people's head. Well, he's already got it implanted in people, that can see again, that can hear again, and these are the false miracles. Okay, it says in the hand aspect, it's talking about the implantable chip that they want to put in people's hand, and that's going to be more convenient for a lot of these people out here to do. Okay, it says, verse 10 says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay? And that judgment is going to come by way of the thermonuclear missiles, the thermonuclear fire, along with the fire from the chariots. Okay? It says, continuing on, it says, according to reporting from Reuters, Musk said the company intends to transition from limited clinical use to mass production while also introducing fully automated surgical procedures to implant the devices. Why is that? Because they pretty much got it to where they want it to be in order to mass produce it. So, because don't let them fool you by saying, oh, now they're ready to do this thing. No, they had it in testing stage maybe for a while now. Now they got it to where they wanted it to be. So now, they're going to release that thing. At first, once again, it may be released as something convenient, something cool to do, and a lot of people are going to fall for it. But eventually, they're going to make it to where you have to take it. Okay? They're going to make it to where people got to take it in order to live in this society. All right? But by then, we're going to be kicked out of society. All right? We're not going to have nothing to do with this society because, we understand, what we got to do is to fall back. This is according to the report. I already read that, Salaki. He stated that Neuralink will start high-volume production of brain-computer interface devices and move to an entirely automated surgical procedure in 2026. Okay? So, I'm not saying that, because you can't trust in what this devil say. At the end of the day, we adhere to what the prophecies say, all right? But we know that we're close. Okay? This announcement represents a major milestone for the company, which has spent years navigating regulatory scrutiny and technical hurdles. Neuralink received approval to begin human clinical trials in 2024 after the U.S. Food and Drug Administration initially rejected its application in 2022 due to safety concerns. Since then, the company has focused on demonstrating that its technology can be safely implanted and function reliably in real-world conditions. You see that? So, everybody ready to roll this thing out, man. Okay? The brain implants are designed primarily to help people with severe neurological impairments, including paralysis and spinal cord injuries. You see that? So, Yahweh Shai, was able, to heal people through spiritual power. And this is what Esau Edom is, trying to achieve. All right? Healing people with this technology. And once again, these are the lying wonders. Okay, let's get a quick scripture. The book of 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. These are the lying wonders. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8, and it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Right, that wicked being the so-called white man, Esau Edom. All right, and the Lord has been revealing him through the prophets. Isaiah 3 and verse 7 says, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. Okay. Verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. You see? So, showing you that this is talking about a man, Esau Edom, with all signs, power, and lying wonders, man. Lying wonders. And this is what you see right here. This is what it is. Lying wonders. To make you believe that he is God, right? To make you believe that he is the Most High. All right? Ain't no power above him. And that's what Esau Edom got the world believing. Verse 9 says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. You see, so a lot of our people, they're going to be deceived. All right? They're going to be deceived into taking, this chip, because, they did not make the Lord their stay. And this is why, once again, beginning with our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, this is why we're out there, teaching this word, preaching this truth, because when this thing goes down, ain't no turning back the prophecies. All right? When this thing goes down, ain't no explaining what you got to do that is coming. No, it's going to be here. All right? And I say that to say because Jake, you see it all the time. We're preaching. Jake will walk across the street, all right, to avoid hearing what the prophets got to say. Okay? But in that day, this thing is happening. Of course, people are going to go out there and willingly take it. But you're going to have people out there that sincerely, second guessing, should they take it or should they not take it? And the fact that you got to guess, that means that, you're screwed. Because if you had listened to what the prophets were saying, you would have knew the answer to what you got to do in those times. All right, but Jake, they don't want to hear the word of the Lord. They don't want to hear the warning. Guess what? That's going to be to their detriment, because they're going to get destroyed. Okay? So, that's pretty much the point. I went and do a lesson on that article, man, because, just to show you that we're living in those times. All right? The things that our forefathers prophesied about in these books, in this book, the Bible, the Holy Bible, we're living in those times right now. We're seeing everything be set up. All right? Like real time stuff. We're seeing everything be set up, and we're seeing the rollout of it. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect, hearing this winning truth and sincerity.